After about 3 weeks, we're wrapping up our time here in Romania. We've really enjoyed it. It's such a beautiful country, but it has a very, very complicated past, as we found out.
It really has. Over the last 100 years, they have been under a monarchy, a military dictatorship, a communist regime, and it wasn't until late 1989 that they had their revolution and became a democratic society. We visited 5 cities over the 3 weeks that we were here, starting with, as we were corrected and told the correct pronunciation is Bucharest.
Bucharest is the capital of Romania and home to more than 2 million people. And of all the places that we visited in Romania, the presence of the communist regime was no more apparent than in Bucharest. More than 30,000 people were evicted from their homes. A number of churches and scores of other buildings were destroyed to make way for this grand boulevard that was the dream of the Communist Party, to have a boulevard in Bucharest that was wider and longer than the Champs-Élysées in Paris.
That's right. It really is a mix of beautiful historical buildings along with the communist bloc buildings. And a lot of the buildings have a Parisian influence, as it is known as Little Paris. And my favorite place to go is Caracubere. So if you ever go, you should check it out. Next, we went from Bucharest to Brasov via train, Brasov ended up being our favorite place in Romania. It was just beautiful medieval walled city surrounded by mountains. In fact, we decided to hike up Tampa Mountain one day until our tour guide told us that we would likely encounter bears.
Not might, not you could. It was likely that you would encounter bears. So we decided to abandon the hike and take the tram to the top. The views were absolutely stunning. There's a big sign similar to the Hollywood sign that says Brasov. We walked over to the sign and there was a platform area where you could overlook the city and all of the surrounding mountains. It was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, you know, when we first told family and friends that we were going to Romania, it was a pretty common theme to hear, why Romania? But we had seen so many videos of it that convinced us to come. And so here are some clips of some things that we were able to see and do while we were in Brasov.
We next spent some time in a town called Sighisoura, which is a small hilltop town and also birthplace to Vlad Dracul, also known as Vlad the Impaler. Now, how do you get the name Vlad the Impaler, and how many people do you have to impale before you get such a nickname? Well, according to our guide, it was about 20,000 people that he impaled during his reign.
You know, Sighisoura to me was so stunning when you're walking up to the hilltop town. The immense size of the gates and the clock tower and the wooden walkways that are still there today were just unbelievably beautiful. I also loved the scholars' steps. They were built in 1642 and originally had 300 steps that took you from the lower town to the upper town in order for children to get to school and to get to church. Now there's only about 176 steps, but it was quite a walk.
Well, again, since it was the birthplace of Vlad Dracul, they did have an attraction there where you could go into his childhood home where he lived until he was about 8, had a little coffin in the room. We decided to pass on that one. Again, we enjoyed our time in Sighisoura, and here's a few of the things that we saw and were able to do while we were there.
Our next stop was in Sibiu, which, wow, what a beautiful city. That was actually our second most favorite place that we went to in all of Romania. They have a large piazza, a small piazza, which is just like a piazza, but in their language. They had a 13th century clock tower that we paid 2 lei, which if you convert that, it was like 40 cents each for us to climb the clock tower, and what an amazing view. They had so many beautiful churches too, but if you're going to go to one, I would go to the Holy Orthodox Cathedral. It's just absolutely stunning.